Hello guys, welcome to Players Guild. So today we have another theory crafting build for mercenaries. But before we start, I want to say thank you to everyone who left the comments on yesterday's video. I did read all of them. I did respond to a good portion of them. There was some interesting theory crafting going in the comments, and we will be making a channel on our Discord to talk theory crafting. I'm going to be probably very active in there, so make sure to join our Discord. The channel is going to show up probably before this video actually goes live today. So make sure to join in, and then we can talk more theory crafting. But before you join the Discord channel, I hope you're going to watch the video and enjoy yourself. Today we have yet another build. You've already seen the title, you know what it's going to be, and let's go. Yeah, I'm a big Murloc fan. They're amazing, they're cute and all that stuff. Well, yeah, today we're going to go through Murlocs, which I think might be a bit more of a meme, but they are definitely scary if you don't know how to deal with them. And again, I'm not making a... Those are all themed theory craftings builds. I'm going to be looking at proper competitive theory crafting... No, not theory crafting. I'm going to be looking at competitive compositions as soon as the game goes live, and I will be able to actually go PvP and start experimenting, seeing what other people are doing and what works, what doesn't. At the moment it's all in theory, so I'm just enjoying myself with themes that I think look absolutely amazing, like yesterday's fire. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check out that video. The fire comp is amazing and it can literally wipe boards very, very quickly. So starting with the first one, our first and most important Murloc is going to be Mutanus. This guy is just going to keep on growing and keep on getting huge. So Mutanus is a fighter, and the equipment I decided to go with him is a pearlescent scales, which when scaled up all the way up is going to give Mutanus +2, +10 every time a Murloc dies, and of course Murlocs are a token spawning strategy. I do hope we're going to get another token spawner beside old Murk-Eye, but the idea is Mutanus gets taunt. The taunt makes him take 3 less damage, and summon tons of tokens. Every 3 turns he can eat a token to gain its stats, and then summon Felfin Navigator. Keep on making all your Murlocs bigger, and anytime one of your Giant Fins or Navigators dies, Mutanus is just going to get bigger and bigger, and we keep on getting taunting on him. Eventually he's going to get big enough that he can get Deathblow on his basic ability, and that is the plan for him. So he's very simple, straightforward, but he's the most important one because he keeps on growing when your other Murlocs die. On the other hand, you can't leave old Murk-Eye... Oops. You can't leave old Murk-Eye and not taken care of, because after turn 1, he's just going to make all the Murlocs crash in one target, which is good enough. But after turn 1, he is going to start spawning Felfin Navigators and then Giant Fins. And as Giant Fins have rush, so as soon as they come down, they're going to attack into a random enemy. Felfin Navigators, with the upgrade that we have here, is going to be giving a lot of stats. I don't remember of the... I think +5/+5 on top of... So it's going to be +8, +10 to all of your Murlocs. That includes all other Murlocs, so that doesn't include Navigator. And then Navigator himself is going to be just eaten by Mutanus, or is just going to crash into something and die, and then Mutanus is going to get additional stats. But the fact that he gives additional 10 health every other turn, and additional 8 attack on the melee characters like old Murk-Eye and Mutanus is just redonkulous, and I love it. And they're going to keep on spawning because both of the tokens have 1 turn cooldown, which means you go Navigator, Giant Fin, Navigator, Giant Fin, Navigator, Giant Fin. If you run out of space because they don't kill your token, that's fine too, because then old Murk-Eye's attack just makes all of the bodies crash into one target. You can literally take out one of the targets, or every 3 turns you are going to eat one of your Murlocs with Mutanus. So I don't think running out of space is going to be that much of a problem. Our next mercenary is going to be, of course, Murgle the Oracle. So with Murgle, Murgle has a very interesting set of abilities. So Murloc Missile makes all of your Murlocs plus 5 health, and he does have an equipment that makes it so it affects any characters, which is good enough, but obviously we don't need it here. We only have Murlocs on our front row. Then he has Fishy Barrage, which repeats for every other Murloc you have, so it can repeat, so it can deal damage 6 times, and it has an increase on that. And I was actually properly thinking about that. At the same time, I'm not sure you do need that type of damage. I figured healing is going to be more important, so I got Dowsing Rod, which is going to be increasing the healing waves health restoration even further, to make sure that your Mutanus or old Murk-Eye can survive, because they do have a fairly high health total, and all the tokens spawning are going to be giving them maximum health. And then you just heal them up. Every other turn you can use Healing Wave to heal one of them up, and if Healing Wave is acting before that mercenary, it's going to heal even more. In the worst case, you can just skip an action on that mercenary, and that shouldn't be too much of a problem, just so you can heal that 30 damage. And Dowsing Rod is going to increase that. I do want both Mutanus and Old Murk-Eye to survive, even in face of protected teams, where protected teams are going to be really problematic for this build, because this build depends solely on the fighters. So I think having that healing wave to be able to defend against those protectors, which are strong but they're not that explosive, but they should, if there is a team of full protectors, they can still one-shot one of my Murlocs, so I do want to protect them. So Magic Missile, the Murloc missiles are going to be used immediately. Felfin Navigator is going to be used as soon as possible, and of course there's going to be a taunt on that Mutanus as well. So hopefully that is going to be enough to make my Murlocs survive long enough until I can start spamming the Navigators, and then have Navigators die, and then rinse and repeat. So yeah, that is our Murloc lineup. All 3 Murlocs obviously are here. We only have 3 Murlocs so far. I do expect more Murlocs to come, and I do hope there's going to come a time when we have 6 Murlocs and we have a good spread of the colors as well, because it would be nice to have 1 Protector Murloc. Finley could be a caster or a protector. I think Finley would be a nice protector because he's quite intelligent. But let's not think about the future, let's think about now. So this is our main line. The problem is that when they break that main line, there's not much you can do. So we need a boss finisher, right? And who's better to lead all the Murlocs than obviously the Queen of the Undead? So Sylvanas is actually absolutely ridiculous with Murlocs, because Reclaimed Souls, her second ability with cooldown 1, speed 10, etc., gives her +5 attack for each friendly character that died that doesn't need to be a mercenary. And as Murlocs are going to be spamming a buttloads of tokens, those tokens are going to keep on dying, because that's the plan. Assuming you just summon 2 tokens and then your whole front row gets wiped. Fine. 5 characters just died. Sylvanas gets +25 attack every other turn. And her Banshee Bolt is going to be dealing 28 attack. No, wait more. She has a high attack herself on level 30, which I don't have in front of me. But she's getting that 25 attack immediately, pretty much, or on the other turn. She needs to survive long enough for that. That is true. She has a low health total. We do have other characters that are going to be supporting her. And the equipment I decided for is Death Valley, because I expect Sylvanas to be able to resolve Reclaimed Souls at least twice, which is going to put her at like stupid 50 odd attack at least, if you survive long enough on Murlocs, and let's say you wiped their front row and then they wiped your front row, but you had 8 or 9 characters die. Let's go optimistic, you have 10 characters die. You got +50 attack on Sylvanas, which means you do that, you get that resolved, and Death Volley is on the maximum level, deals damage to all enemies, is just going to say bye to everyone. And if they're casters, they're definitely bye on that. If you resolve second reclaimed souls, they're dead. They need to clear your other mercenaries before they clear Sylvanas, but Sylvanas will be pretty much able to one-shot any of the opposing units. So the choice for me was quite clear. She is the best boss mercenary for Murloc's composition, and I love the implication of that, because she is amazing, and I love to have an excuse to play her. For her support, to no one's surprise, we have Tyrion. So in here, we're actually playing Tyrion a bit differently. We have Tyrion's shield, so he starts with Divine Shield, and he has increased maximum health. The reason we have that is, if only one of our Murlocs dies, we put out Tyrion with the Divine Shield to make sure that the cooldown goes off from Blessing of the Kings. And then we wait for one of the other Murlocs to die. Then we bring out Sylvanas and then immediately give her Divine Shield, because Blessing of Kings is actually quite fast. Full speed is quite fast. So we're making sure that Sylvanas can get that Divine Shield immediately, which means she can survive that turn, which means she's more likely to get to her reclaimed souls, which is the whole idea behind that. And afterwards, we're just going to be trying to use Tyrion to give some Divine Shield or just survivability, really. And the fact that Blessing of Kings is also going to give Sylvanas 8/8 is pretty much what's needed. But yeah, this is mostly for PvP. And there we go. And you have one more support character, which in this situation is Cairne Bloodhoof. So Cairne is here because he can stop melee attackers with his taunt, and he makes your other characters faster with his endurance aura. The reason I took this is because against certain compositions which do a lot of damage but are slow, you want to make it easier for Sylvanas to do her reclaimed souls. So you want to use endurance aura, and then reclaimed souls has a chance to act before they're going to board wipe you. If you already used up the Divine Shield and things like that, then this is perfect. Then Sylvanas will be able to just get faster to that point, and then the Death Volley should be able to wipe their board. So I wanted to speed up Sylvanas. I would definitely prefer to have Valeera here, because she can make Sylvanas way faster. But obviously, I'm not sure. Someone mentioned that Valeera is not a collectible mercenary, so I stopped myself from using Valeera. I went for Cairne. Beside that, on top of that, Cairne can taunt and has a reincarnation, which means when he dies, the first time he dies, he can return to the game with 40 health, which is good enough. He can get another endurance aura eventually, or he can heal himself up a bit. So he's still there. He's not useless after he revives. So definitely, yeah. So this is my Murloc approach. It's a very, it's different, right? So we have that front row of Murlocs, and then we have, after Murlocs die, we have this build around Sylvanas. And Sylvanas is just wiping your opponents. Tyrion is protecting himself and Sylvanas, and then Cairne speeds up Sylvanas while himself being hard to kill. Just trying to make it so that Sylvanas does as much damage, and they need to concentrate on Sylvanas, because if they're not, she's suddenly going to start picking up a character after character with her basic ability. If she hits like 70 attack on her own, which actually is not that difficult if you have that. As I said, we're optimistic. 10 Murlocs died in the front. Then she gets 50 attack. From Tyrion, she gets another 8. So that puts her at about just about 70 attack. And then she doesn't need to go that much further, because then she can use her ability and any of the other attacks on Tyrion and Cairne. And then when Tyrion can use Blessing of Kings again, he boosts Sylvanas further, and then she just starts picking up on opposing characters. If they have any casters, Sylvanas is just going to pick them up as soon as she can. And they will need to concentrate on Sylvanas at that point. Because if they don't, if they concentrate on Tyrion and Cairne, which technically they need to do because otherwise Death Volley is going to kill them, it's a very scary build. And people who don't watch this video might actually not expect this in PvP, but if you're going to see me in PvP, and if you're going to see that I have Murlocs up front, you know Sylvanas is waiting there. And I hope you can find a way around that, because I want to make this build even better, and this might be one of the funnier builds that I had. But this build is not only good for PvP. I think this build is going to be absolutely amazing for PvE. Even if you just kept the top 3 characters, you could use the top 3 characters and then level up whatever you have behind. It's a fairly cheap build as well, because Murlocs on their own are 2 res and epic, which is really, really cheap. And we just change... Yeah, we have 2 small changes. Or 1 small change, 1 big change. So the small change is Tyrion has King's Helmet in PvE, which this is just to make Tyrion bigger, because he doesn't need that Divine Shield when he's against AI, because AI doesn't have that much of a damage immediately. So he wants to get some additional stats so he can start killing off stuff and help clear up some of the minions that Sylvanas wouldn't be able to deal with. So that's why I decided to change this to King's Helmet rather than the Tyrion's Shield. And I decided to change Cairne into Cornelius, because Cornelius had... I was thinking of Cornelius for PvP as well, but if they're going to see Cornelius, probably they're going to target him either way, which might have been a good thing. But I wanted to make sure that Sylvanas can get ahead of AoE in Fire build, or has a chance to get ahead of AoE in Fire build. So Cornelius is better in PvE because he can do the Blessing of Sacrifice, which is going to protect Sylvanas. He can heal the adjacent mercenaries, and he can reduce the damage he takes, which is absolutely amazing. He reduces up to 3 damage just passively, so he won't be taking much damage. And in PvE, I think he's going to be really good to protect our final boss. At the same time, I think majority of the stuff is just going to be wiped by the Murlocs early on, because the tokens are neutral, so they will be able to deal with whatever is there. They might concentrate on some of the Murlocs up there, but again, Mutanus can reduce his own damage as well. So I think Murlocs are going to be perfectly fine on their own. And yeah, that's my Murloc's composition. That's my opinion of this. No, I'm absolutely looking forward to playing all of the compositions I'm going to be doing here. There is tons of really interesting approaches. I have seen someone in our comments posting a resilience composition with characters that are really difficult to kill, which is interesting approach on its own. I think it's going to be annoying to deal with. I'm not sure how much damage output it's going to have, but it is a possibility. I'm going to be looking at compositions like that at some point as well, because the game has tons of possibilities. So obviously I'm going to be looking at as many of them as I can and playing them through as well. So if you guys are not subscribed yet, please click that subscribe button. I'm going to be streaming live on the 12th of October when Mercenaries go live. And then on the 13th of October for the whole day, there's going to be another stream. I'm going to be going through all the tutorials, opening tons of packs on Tuesday, because at this point I bought all of the pre-orders. So there's 130 packs that are going to be opened on stream. And then I have some gold saved up for more packs. So make sure to join in. We're going to have some fun. We're going to be doing tons of crafting early on. And then we're going to be tackling the PvE on Tuesday to see how far we can go. And how busted we can get with all the coins we can get. And yeah, I'm going to be looking for all sorts of compositions that I can be doing, so make sure to join in. and keep me company, and let's see where this game mode is going to get us. Beside that, please leave a like and comment on this video. It helps us with the algorithm, and we're trying to build up to... We are on our way to 2,000 subscribers. We are at 1.17, I think. Something along those lines. So we are climbing there. So target, by the end of the year, we want to hit 1,500 subscribers. So please subscribe, please like, please help the algorithm to share our videos as well. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another theory crafting for Mercenaries.